Hey everybody, welcome back to a new video. Today we are looking at a brand new fridge from ICECO. This is their new APL55. Now this is packed with features and it is super efficient. I'll tell you right up front, this is one of the most efficient fridges that I've tested on the channel, and that's because they've upgraded the refrigerant inside. Instead of using R134A, they are using R513A, which is way better for the environment and more efficient. Now I have over 150 hours of testing into this fridge. So in the rest of the video, we'll show you the actual performance of this fridge so you guys know if it's a fridge that you want to buy or skip and find something else. Now, believe it or not, the first thing that I did when I got this fridge was to tear it down to see what type of model of compressor they were using inside. Now, they have the BD50F SECOP compressor, and ICECO offers a 5-year warranty on that model. And it's good to see that they have SECOP compressors in here because a lot of other brands have gone to cheaper off-brand models. So having that compressor inside means this functions just like the full-size refrigerator in your house, but this is way more portable and also runs on DC power, so batteries or power stations. So if you want to take this camping, or if you're living in a van, or if you're going on a road trip, there's no longer the need of ice to keep your food from spoiling. You basically just run this and it's good to go. Now inside you have 2 zones. You have a fridge and a freezer, and it also has a removable divider so you can run it as a single zone, a fridge or a freezer. So very cool, the flexibility that this model offers, and I really love that slow close lid. Now how big is this fridge? Well, just like the name suggests, APL55, this is a 55 liter or 58 quart capacity refrigerator. Now this is available on ICECO's website for a price of $859. But I do have a 12% off discount code that's valid site-wide that takes 12% off anything, and that'll bring the price down to around $755. So let's go ahead and break down all the features on this fridge, starting with the outside, then we'll take a look at the inside, and then we'll jump into the power consumption numbers. Now breaking down the exterior features for the APL55, the entire fridge is encased in this really nice polished metal. I will tell you it's definitely a fingerprint magnet. Now on all 4 corners and the edges you have these plastic protectors just to keep it from getting dented. And when you go around to carry the fridge itself, you have 2 really nice metal spring-loaded handles, one on this side, one on that side. And you also have dual power inputs. So your main control panel over here has your DC input, your AC input, and USB inputs with these weather-resistant covers. And then on this side, you also have DC input and 2 USB ports. So you can kind of choose which side you want to power the fridge. Now as for the lid, it is super insulated. It's about 3 inches thick. You have this really nice rubber gasket. You're gonna get a really good seal between the top and bottom. It reminds me of the standard VL series. I loved those designs, and I love that it closes slowly. It also has this handle you can pull down on it. Now on the lid itself, you also have these aluminum strap holders, so it appears that you can strap this down and hold it down in your truck. Now this fridge does have Bluetooth connectivity with the Smart app. I'll break that down here in a second. Let's go ahead and talk about the control panel, how you can change the temperature and see the control panel itself, and then we'll go ahead and cover this ambient light. Now I have the divider in, so you can see we have 2 separate zones. I'm running one at 34 degrees and one at 10 degrees. Now to change the speed of the compressor from eco mode to max mode, you can push the snowflake. It goes to blue for max mode, eco mode is green. Now to change the temperature, you push the settings button once and then it'll start flashing, and then you can go down or up as needed. To change the next zone, you push the settings button again. You can go down and up as needed. Now if you push the settings button again, you can adjust the brightness of the display. So if you're in a dark area, you don't have to have this, blaring bright. Push the settings mode again, you get the battery protection settings. I like to keep that on low. And then you have the ability to adjust the Celsius and Fahrenheit, and you can turn on and off the beeps. You can turn on and off Bluetooth as well. Now this also has a mode where it has an ambient light. If you push this once, you get a white light that appears along the bottom, kind of like a night light. And then if you push it again, it will go into this white and blue alternating mode, and it's just kind of a fancy LED mode. This also has app connectivity, so let's go ahead and talk about the app. Now once you download the app and turn on Bluetooth, the fridge will appear and you can click on it. It takes a second to load. And once it connects, you can see the internal temperature for each zone. You can see the incoming voltage, whether it's on eco mode or max mode, and you can turn on and off the fridge here. You also have the ability to adjust some settings. For example, you can adjust the temperature in the left zone. You can adjust the temperature in the right zone.
And then below that, you can change eco mode to max mode. You can change the temperature between Fahrenheit and Celsius, and the battery protection settings from low, medium, or high. Now, I love that this app doesn't require any logins. It just connects right up to the fridge, and you can control the fridge remotely.
Now let's go ahead and show you guys the internal features of the fridge. So you just want to undo these two heavy-duty latches, and then that allows you to open up the lid. Now you'll notice inside there are two LED lights, so you can definitely see things inside the fridge whenever it's dark. And this also comes with two baskets. Now the baskets help for two reasons. It protects the bottom of the fridge in case you happen to drop something in there, it'll hit the basket instead of the bottom. And then also if you want to move the fridge around, you can actually remove the baskets with the food in them. It'll lighten up the fridge itself, make it easier to move around, and then you can put the food back in. Now this is a dual zone fridge, so you have two full controllable zones. One can be a fridge, one can be a freezer. And then also this has a removable divider, and once you remove that, it will adjust to be a single zone fridge or freezer. So very cool. Not a lot of companies have the removable divider, so a lot of technology goes into this, so it's pretty awesome. Now this does have a drain plug down in the bottom, so in case you get any spills or you have any condensation melt off, you can let it drain out through the bottom. Now for the accuracy of the temperature inside, there are two exposed temperature sensors. Now breaking down the total width of the inside, it's a little over 20 inches wide. The inside is about 13.5 inches tall. And it's also about 13.5 inches deep. Now just for reference, I've gone ahead and put a gallon of milk down here in the bottom. It fits perfectly. I also have a soda can and a small Gatorade bottle up here on the shelf. And in the freezer section, I have two half-gallon tubs of ice cream with plenty of room to spare. Now, this is everything that comes in the box. You get your owner's manual, you get a troubleshooting guide with all the error codes and what that means. You get a spare wrench and latch. You also get the DC power cable and the AC power cable. Now let's go ahead and talk about power consumption numbers on the APL55. Now when the compressor is not running and this is plugged into the wall, it pulls around 3 watts of power. Now when you have it set to eco mode, which is the slower compressor speed, it pulls around 42 watts of power. And when you have it set to max mode, which is the fastest way to cool this down, it pulls 72 watts of power. Now keep in mind the compressor does not run all the time. It's kind of just based on ambient temperatures. So a rule of thumb is the hotter it is outside, the more the compressor will run and the more power usage you'll have. Now I like to do two different tests. I like to do an ambient test at 70 degrees to see how much power this uses, and I like to do a test at 85 degrees ambient to see how much more the compressor runs. Now basically I put this into a closet with a heater. That's how I simulate the 85 degrees. So let's go ahead and jump into those numbers. Now to break down these power consumption numbers, I'm going to throw a graph on the screen. Now I did 6 different tests. Each one was 24 hours long. 3 tests at 70 degrees ambient, 3 tests at 85 degrees ambient. So let's go ahead and break this down. Now the APL55 running as a single zone fridge pulled 180 watt hours over a 24-hour period, or an average of 7.5 watts. Now the APL55 running as a dual zone, meaning a fridge freezer combo, 36 degrees and 10 degrees, it pulled 276 watt hours or 11.5 watts on average. And the VL60 Pro running as a single zone fridge pulled 288 watt hours or 12 watts of power. Now moving on to the 85 degree ambient tests, the APL55 in a single zone configuration pulled 444 watt hours or 18.5 watts on average. Moving up to a dual zone fridge freezer combo, the APL55 pulled 528 watt hours or an average of 22 watts. And the VL60 Pro running as a single zone fridge at 85 degrees pulled 528 watt hours or 22 watts on average. So what is this telling us? Basically, this fridge running as a fridge freezer combo is more efficient than the VL60 Pro, which was already efficient as a single zone. So very impressive results here. I'm guessing this is because of the refrigerant upgrade and the extra thick walls of insulation. Now I also wanted to see how loud the compressor was when running in eco mode. You can see with my sound meter here, it's right around 45 to 46 decibels. This is what it sounded like. Now I also wanted to test to see how accurate the internal temperatures were versus what you have the control panel set to. So I ran this as a fridge freezer combo. I had the fridge set to 36 degrees and the freezer set to 10 degrees, and I recently purchased 2 wireless thermometers that do data logging. So I set this to run overnight, And the fridge, remember, set to 36 degrees. The average temperature for the fridge over that period was 38 degrees, which is only off by 2 degrees. And the average temperature for the freezer, remember it was set to 10 degrees, was 11.7 degrees. So in a worst case scenario with no mass in the fridge, remember if you have more mass in there, the temperature is going to be more consistent. But with just airspace, you can see that the temperatures were very accurate. Now we're coming to the end of the video and I want to give you guys some final thoughts on the APL55. Now the first thing is if you want to see all the breakdown of the performance of this fridge, if you check out the link down in the video description, it goes to my power station grading sheet, but at the bottom there's multiple tabs and there's a 12-volt compressor fridge tab and you can see all the fridges that I've tested on the channel. So if you're looking to go on a road trip or camping without ice, you can see which fridge works best for you, including all the details for this fridge. Now, what do I like about the APL55? Well, I love that it has its removable divider, meaning it's a multi-purpose fridge. Instead of going out and buying two separate 12-volt compressor fridges, this one acts like two different models. Take out the divider, you have a single zone. Put the divider in, you have a dual zone. So I really like that ICECO has been doing that on some of their recent models. Another thing that I love, has the SECOP BD50F compressor with a 5-year warranty, and ICECO has really good support. I really like the efficiency of this model. It's got super thick insulated walls, really nice gasket along the lid, very efficient model, especially when it's running in dual zone. It's one of the most efficient models that I've tested. The other thing that I like about this fridge is the Bluetooth connectivity and the control panel. It's very simple to use. It's the benefit of basically having the Bluetooth app. You can be up in your front seat of your car driving down the road and see what the fridge is doing. You don't have to stop and check in on it. So that's really cool. Now, one thing that I don't like about the fridge is the actual finish of the metal here. It's a reflective finish, it's very shiny, and it looks really, really good when it's clean. But when it gets a little dirty and you've been touching it, you can start to see some of the scratches, you can see the dust on it, and you can see the fingerprints. So just be aware, it looks really good when it's clean, but when it gets dirty, you can see all that. It's kind of just like having a shiny black car. They look really good when they're clean, but when they get dirty, you can see everything. The other thing that I think is kind of a downside is the fact that the lid only opens up one way. We've seen from ICECO in the past with other models that their lid designs offer flexibility. Now this is a super thick lid, lots of insulation, and I really like that this has the slow close feature. Heavy duty hinges here, but it only opens one way. So you're gonna have to think about that if this design will work specifically for you. So those are my final thoughts on the APL55. A lot of really good things, just a couple things that they could change to make it even better. I'd love to get your guys' feedback. What did you guys think about the APL55? Now, if you guys have never used a 12-volt compressor fridge, I would definitely recommend checking out ICECO. They sit right in the middle of the lineup, right? You have your budget fridges, and then you have your really expensive brands, and then you have ICECO in the middle that offers a good balance of reliability, efficiency, and feature set, but the price is not over, $1,500. So instead of spending $1,500 for a really good fridge, you can spend, $850 or even $750 with my discount code. So all that information will be down in the video description, so check it out. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video.